It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222, your emails at randywangradio@gmail.com, and search for the KABC News Blitz wherever you get your podcasts. Some pretty big national news dropped today. The President of the United States announced something that some people have been waiting for several presidents past to do, something that a lot of Californians have called for, reclassifying marijuana as a Schedule 3 drug instead of a Schedule 1 drug, making marijuana in the eyes of the federal government a little less dangerous than some of the worst drugs that are out there. I think heroin is Schedule 2, whatever these things mean. What does this mean for California, where pot is already legal? And what does this mean for the acceptance of marijuana in our society? Well, let's find out. Here's a report from ABC 7 in the Bay.
A major shift could be coming to how the federal government classifies marijuana. Sources say President Trump could sign an executive order Thursday that would reclassify it from a Schedule 1 drug to a Schedule 3.
Which means they can do medical research on it, which haven't we done plenty of that already? But sure. I think the most important thing is that this would unlock banking, because right now, if you own a dispensary or any kind of pot-related business, you cannot do business with banks that are in the federal banking system, which means you're a cash business, which means you're a target for thieves.
That kind of reclassification could impact how marijuana is researched and used for medical purposes.
This is the first significant change in the federal government's posture toward cannabis in over 5 decades.
Paul Armentano is with the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, also called NORML.
I remember NORML. They used to advertise on the first radio station I worked at. There was a guy named Bruce Margolin who wanted to make sure you knew about all the pot laws, and they definitely targeted their audience correctly.
He says the organization has fought to move public opinion to legalize marijuana use for responsible adults. Still, he said what's been leaked about the executive order isn't addressing all that they've called for.
So symbolically, that's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's already legal in how many states? Let's see. How many states have legal weed? Wow. It auto-finished the word weed for me. All right. How many states is weed 100% legal in? In 40 states, it is legal for medical use. In 24 states now, it is legal for recreational use. So half the country, you can buy pot just cuz. And in almost the entire country, you can say that you have glaucoma. I never said that. I used to say I had insomnia back when I partook in that, which I haven't in, let's see, it's 2020. It's about to be 2026. So it'll be about 9 years since I touched the stuff.
Practically, there is still major changes that need to occur at the federal level in order to harmonize what the states are doing with cannabis with respect to how the federal government views cannabis.
Armentano said the organization wants to see cannabis removed from the Controlled Substances Act altogether.
Similar to how alcohol is not included in the CSA, which is...
I didn't know that.
Which is why states have a significant amount of authority and autonomy when it comes to how they choose to regulate alcohol within their own borders.
This is like how in certain states there are last calls at midnight, there are last calls at 2 a.m., there are last calls at 4 a.m. Isn't it like in Chicago, last call can be at 6 a.m.? Then, of course, you have it on the other side where you have the weirdest liquor laws you've ever heard of in a state that is touting freedom, Texas. Do you know, if you've never been to Texas, that you can't buy liquor at a grocery store? You can't go to H-E-B, can't go to Central Market or Kroger and buy tequila. You can't buy vodka. Doesn't matter what time of the day, doesn't matter what day of the week. You have to buy liquor from a specific liquor store. Maybe it's a Total Wine, maybe it's a Specs, but a specialty liquor shop, but you have to buy it at a special store, and they're not open on Sundays. In some counties, it's dry. And so there's a lot, if you know anyone that grew up in Texas, they all know the easiest ways to either get over the border from Texas to New Mexico or Texas to Mexico. And I will tell you, the last time that I was in Texas, we were staying for a week. And at this point, we were really into tequila. And we came in on Saturday night and we were like, well, we don't have any tequila at the house. So we need to go to Total Wine because we won't be able to buy it on Sunday. We go to a bar and drink it on Sunday, but you cannot buy a bottle of liquor on a Sunday in Texas. So on a Saturday night in June, you know what everyone's doing, all the young people? They are stocking up at the Total Wine, at the Specs. They're all loading up just in case they run out of booze.
Legalization of marijuana has had many outspoken critics. University professor and political expert Nolan Higdon said many of those critics point to a lack of research.
We don't have a lot of research on marijuana because of...
Well, and the product constantly changes. Even from when I stopped, it's so much stronger and more potent than it used to be.
We don't have a lot of...
So I've heard.
We don't have a lot of research on marijuana because of the way it's been scheduled previously. One of the things folks have brought up who oppose legalization at the state level, that we're legalizing this product we really haven't researched well, and now we're starting to kind of see what some of the outcomes of usage are.
Well, and there are some things that definitely we need the medical research, we need the medical history, because if we're going to treat this like alcohol, which some would definitely argue for, and some would say, well, booze is legal and could be destructive to your life, so pot should be legal as well. But there are certain things. I will just say, this never happened to me personally, but I do know people that this has happened to. Do you know you can consume so much cannabis that at some point your stomach starts actively rejecting everything inside it? And it leads to a term called scromiting, which is a combination of screaming and vomiting. You might think you have food poisoning. You might think you have some kind of virus, but no, it's that there's too much cannabis in your system. There's also been talk of, overexposure, and using this stuff for too long can have devastating effects on your mental health. I will tell you from my own personal experience. While I was an avid rookie level stoner for about a decade, one of the reasons that I decided to finally give it up and quit was because it was giving me massive levels of anxiety every time I smoked. And for a long time, I used to think, okay, well, that's just the sativas. What if I just do the indicas? It's going to be fine, right? No. It was just as bad. And what's so bizarre is when you've deluded yourself into believing, this is either harmless, or what a lot of, the really, really pro-pot people will tell you is all the health benefits and all the good things that it's doing for you. And I'm sure there are health benefits and there are definite things that medical marijuana could be used for when it comes to pain management. But it took me a long time to convince myself that this stuff was making me crazy. And so I gave it up and anxiety went away. Although I was very irritable for a while. So that's one of the reasons why I stopped doing it. But I'm sure prolonged and excessive drinking can do the same thing to your mental state.
So I think that also could be something to watch down the line as well.
While the signing of the executive order is expected Thursday, a White House official warned that the timing could shift. In the East Bay, Zach Fuentes, ABC 7 News.
So this is the question that's being posed as we start talking about reclassifying marijuana as a less dangerous drug for research purposes, for banking purposes. It's already legal in half the states, and it's already medically legal in 4 out of 5 states. But what do you think about treating pot the same exact way we treat booze? Should we be thinking about alcohol and marijuana as one and the same? And should we have laws that reflect the exact same things that we do with them? What do you think about treating pot the same way we treat booze? Do you think they are equals? 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. And I'm not here to judge anybody. You know, there are some people that can't handle booze. They don't like it, but they want to take the edge off, and weed gummies do that for them. Great. There are some people that can't stand pot, can't stand the smoke, can't stand the edibles, and booze works for them. You do whatever works for you. But I will say, for my own personal experience, while I do enjoy a good drink here or there, I never was at a point where I would have ever been an excessive drinker. I mean, during COVID, would the wife and I do a couple of bottles at night, like maybe 3? Yes, but it was COVID. But it's not like I ever woke up in the morning and started drinking heavily. Sure, you're on vacation, you have a Bloody Mary, but there was, I don't think even on the vacations I've been on, there's never been a point where I needed to have like a consistent buzz all day long. That being said, there was a certain portion of my 20s, and it's the certain portion of my 20s that I'm having the hardest time remembering, is when I was convinced, much like you ever see the movie Half Baked, Dave Chappelle? Well, it's a great movie. It's hilarious. And it always stuck with me. They had this scene where they're describing the different kinds of stoners. And Jon Stewart had a cameo in this movie from The Daily Show. And his cameo was the enhancement smoker, where the bit was, he's like, hey, you ever seen this movie? Well, you ever seen it on weed? And that's the enhancement smoker, where you're convinced that every aspect of your daily life will be enhanced if you are just high. And I subscribed to that for a very long time, longer than I'm comfortable admitting. And I don't think it was necessarily true. But I will say, I know a lot of people that, like, the second they wake up, got to do it. The second before they go to bed, got to do it. I used to, you know, when I was just dating my wife and she was putting up with this little habit of mine, there used to be arguments about if I was going to do that, I had to go brush my teeth because she's not kissing weed mouth. And she had a point. But the amount that I would consume that would be detrimental to my health. I mean, I was always a bad cougher. And this is a true story. And this is 12, 13 years ago, I took myself to urgent care because I woke up one morning and I coughed up blood. Just a little bit of blood, but I wasn't used to that. And I was a little freaked out by it. And so I took myself to the urgent care, talked to the doctor. He took my vitals. He looked at everything and he said, yeah, how much pot are you smoking? Because you are irritating your lungs so badly that you're coughing up blood, and some of it stays in your throat and you cough it up in the morning. Not good. I got to the point where I was with friends, and because I used to be a producer of a pot-related podcast called The Podcast, the original one with my buddy Adam Macadocious. And they used to do this thing where, you know, you probably, if you haven't been an active smoker, you know that, you know, people do joints. They have bongs, they have edibles, they have bubblers. They were doing this stuff called nail hits, where you take a titanium nail, stick it in a bong, and then with dental tools, you take a piece of hashish and you take a blowtorch and you heat up that nail until it is red. Then you touch the hash to it, inhale it. Oh my goodness, it's probably the worst I've ever coughed. And I used to do this all the time in my apartment building, and I'd have to run outside and start hacking up a lung. My neighbors put up with me. They tolerated me, but I'm sure I was the most obnoxious person in that building. So, but look, I know people can go way too far with pot. There's probably plenty of people that they did not do that they don't smoke all the time. They just do it when they want to take the edge off or just have a weed gummy here or there, which it was funny. I was at a pool party earlier this year, and I had just started to lose some of this weight I lost this year. And I was saying that one of the things I was doing is I cut out drinking, and I really didn't have anything to drink for a few months. Occasional drink here or there when we went to Santa Fe, but for the most part, like daily drinking, I had cut that out. And so many people were like, yeah, I did that too, and it's helping lose weight, but don't you worry, I do my weed gummies. I'm like, oh, I don't do that. No, I have to stay away from that stuff. It's just not good for me. You know, my thought was always when you get to the point where it turns on you, you got to give that up. Some people, maybe that never happens, but it definitely happened to me. But the phone lines are open, 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. Now that marijuana is being reclassified at the federal level, should we be treating pot and weed the same when it comes to the state of California? 800-222-5222. 1-800-222-5222. Let's go to Jesse in Whittier. Jesse, hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Doing great.
I was I'll tell you my nickname in high school. It was Hash Brown. So I smoked. Yeah, that's what my friends called me, Hash Brown. Hash. So I smoked a lot of pot, and it didn't do me any good, you know. I quit after a while. I grew up, but something had to fill that void, and that became alcohol. And that's where I'm at.
So you're not doing the smoking anymore, but you're drinking.
Too much. No, I'm seriously. I mean, you know, too much where I need help.
Oh, really?
And that's why, yeah. And
Well,
that's why I'm
gosh,
calling. Because I want people to know that, all right, yeah, smoking pot for fun, yeah, it's cool. You know, you smoke. I'll get rid of it, but you have to fill that void with something else.
Well, I think it is. It's a big thing of you to call in and admit that. I mean, I got to, you know, when I finally admitted what it was doing to me, what, you know, the pot smoking was doing to me, that was when I was able to change. And, you know, also with cutting down on drinking, admitting that, okay, we've gone a little too far. If I'm taking a visit to the toilet to kneel in front of it every other night, I've got an issue. So admitting it, that's the first thing. That's the most important thing. You've done that. Congratulations. If you think that you're at a point where you need help, you can ask for help. There are people that can help you through this. You can manage this. So many people have been where you are right now. I'm sure there are people listening right now. And there are people that can guide you through it, whether you need a severe interdiction or you just need a helping hand. There are so many people that are supportive, that want to help out because they've been there as well. So you're not alone in this.
Well, that's why I'm calling, because I want other people to know that they're not alone, that there's people like me, you know, willing to admit, you know, my problem, willing to admit my addiction. And I just don't want to get help for myself. I want them to get help too.
I love that. I love that. Well, stay in touch, Jesse. Email me with your progress. You need any advice or anything, I can try to, you know, connect you to somebody. But stay strong. And thanks for coming on the air and being brave and admitting that. That's really brave of you, buddy.
Thank you. I appreciate you, man. God bless you. Take care.
Bless you. Thank you. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. Let's go to Richard in Santa Monica. Richard, hello.
Yes, hello. I'm Richard. The pendulum swings the other way with me. I've been smoking the weed since before Woodstock. When was that? 68, 67. And a heavy. I mean, and I'm 86 now. Me and Willie Nelson. And I would probably be long dead because I am in a wheelchair. I got 2 broken hips, amputated, but my brain, which is marijuana is lipid soluble. It goes right to the brain and loads up my brain. I am donating my brain to UCLA after I die. But I'm a strong advocate, have ever been. I'm in a minority. The stuff I used to smoke back before that Woodstock, it was called Mexican dirt in Massachusetts. They seven joints and you'd cough a little. But now, thank you, God and everybody. Read the world. Anyway, I just want to say I love your show. I love your station, and I'm glad I'm in a minority. My wife can't stand the smell. I can't smoke outside because the guy upstairs, the balcony, it goes into his apartment. So I'm a pariah. But I'm a happy pariah, and I'm healthy.
You
and I'm
sound
alive.
like a happy pariah. I'll give you that, Richard. Thank you so much for the call. I appreciate it. And you know what's funny? He mentioned Willie Nelson, who is, probably one of the most famous pot smokers of all time. He has said openly in interviews if he had quit drinking a very long time ago, and he said if he would have kept drinking, he wouldn't be alive today. So it's very interesting. Anyway, what do you think about treating pot and booze the same? Are they the same? 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. There's no judgment here. Everyone has their vice. Everyone has their way to take the edge off. But legally, should we be treating these things as the same? Are they the same? If you're on hold, stay right there. More of your calls coming up next. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. This is our last live show of the year. So if you need some News Blitz, you need a News Blitz fix over the holidays, go to the podcast, search for the KABC News Blitz wherever you get your podcasts, because we have tons of episodes, lots of them. So download them. If you're on hold, stay right there. We'll take more of your calls on if we should be treating pot and weed equally. 800-222-5222. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. Your emails at randywangradio@gmail.com. And search for the KABC News Blitz wherever you get your podcasts. Do you think pot and booze should be treated the same? 800-222-5222. Let's start with Nick in Sherman Oaks. Nick, hello.
Hey, Randy, it's great to talk to you. I'm a huge fan. You're a Valley kid, just like me, man. Born and raised Van Nuys, Sherman Oaks, bro. So it's good to talk to you.
818.
It's 8 up, straight up, man. So listen, there's so much we could talk about. I could go for a whole hour with you, but I won't do that. Gateway. This is a gateway. Listen, I smoked tons of weed in high school. I have family and friends that all took a path for the worse, and it all started with weed, unfortunately. And those are really dark stories, so I don't really want to get into that. But the other thing that I did want to add on here, and this is a really big topic for me, and I'm so glad you brought it up. The weed that you and I were smoking, Randy, back in the 90s, it was nothing compared to the stuff that's going on today. And I haven't smoked weed since I was like 17 years old. Okay, but I'm very familiar with being high. Look, the thing is that I live in an apartment building where a lot of people smoke weed. And it really sucks when you're a non-smoker. And it really sucks when you have kids. Because the secondhand smoke that comes out of the weed that people are smoking today, it is so potent, it is so strong, it will just literally drive you crazy. And I know that because it's happened to me, and that's a very real thing. You know, when it comes to gummies and stuff like that and comparing it to booze, like, you know, drinking a glass of wine or beer or something like that, you know, go ahead and do your gummies or whatever, fine. You know, I'm not really going to complain about that. But do you have to smoke this stuff? Because number one, it smells horrible. And the smoke is so heavy, it's like impossible to air it out. It stinks. And the secondhand smoke, especially from today's weed, Randy, that is real. Man, that is real. It has a negative impact. It gets you just as high these days as if you were smoking it directly. And I mean, I could go on, but honestly, it's a problem. It's a massive problem. And I'm honestly really disappointed to even know that weed is being reclassified, or if it's going to, I'm not sure. But
the secondhand is such a really important point because, you know, you can't secondhand drink somebody. But
exactly,
you definitely can smoke this stuff in a confined space, or if you live in an apartment building, it can get through the vents. Not only does it stink to high heaven, and I'll tell you, once you quit smoking pot, you smell it. You have like a nose for it. You can tell that that's not a skunk, that's actual pot. And that could be quite irritating if you're trying to stay away from it. So, yeah,
extremely,
if people want to do the gummies or something that isn't going to affect the atmosphere, that's probably a little more palatable.
I agree 1,000%. And I just, you know, I think more people just really need to be conscious of that. I personally don't smoke. I'm not even a big drinker, and I'm not a goody two shoes or anything. But I'm telling you, when you're raising a family, and especially in a place like an apartment building like me, and I know a lot of people are doing that. And, you know, even the building has a no smoking policy, but people always find a way or an excuse. It's actually, you are significantly impacting somebody else's life, and you need to remember that. Go ahead and do a gummy, be responsible about it. If you got oils, go ahead and do that. It doesn't smell, but don't get high and then start driving, just like you wouldn't drink and drive. But you've got to understand that secondhand smoke, especially from that genetically modified weed, crazy stuff that people are smoking now, dude, it's insane. It has a serious impact. It should not be reclassified, especially with the genetic engineering. I think that's a bad move, and it's already bad enough that states and cities are allowing this.
That's a good point that you bring up. Thanks so much for the call, Nick. Appreciate it. You know, a lot of stoners, at least the ones that I knew in my 20s, it wasn't that you'd get high and then drive. It was you were getting high while driving. Let's go to Joe in Santa Monica. Joe, hello.
Hey, Randy. I've been listening to you since Doug, and I finally have something in common with you. I, too, I grew up in Tarzana, late 60s, high school, and smoking marijuana was quite popular. And I did it. I was smoking a joint while I was driving, and all of a sudden I got very paranoid, really afraid. And I thought, what is this stuff? And I didn't want to do it again. And what was interesting, I'll go on. Back at that time, transcendental meditation became very popular in schools and in college. I don't know if you're aware of that or not. And in order to meditate, you couldn't use drugs. And I remember, so I didn't smoke pot. I just started meditating. But when I smoked the pot, I couldn't meditate. I couldn't go down deep. It did something to my nerves. I don't know what it was, but I could not meditate. I don't think alcohol and pot should be the same. There's not, like the guy said before you got on, the doctor said there has not been enough research on marijuana. I think that it's pretty damaging to the brain. I'm no expert, but I just think I don't think it's a safe thing to do, and I'm glad I don't do it anymore. And there you go, Randy.
Well, thanks so much for the call, Joe. Appreciate it. You know, I think anything in excess is going to have a profound impact on the brain. What I can say is from my own personal experience, when I used to smoke daily, I was a lot less ambitious than the person that I am today. So take that for what it is. I'm sure there are plenty of people that are very successful and very motivated that enjoy themselves when they want to. For me, I definitely hit a ceiling of how successful I could be because I was high all the time. Let's go to Sunil in Shadow Hills. Hello.
Yes, sir. I've been listening to you for many years, Randy, and I enjoy your shows. And once in a while, you pick a subject that always, touches the heart. In this case, I've never smoked marijuana in my life, pot, whatever, because I'm not a smoker. But I've always been drinking. I've been drinking for many years, and I enjoy my drink. But lately, well, not lately, but in the last 15 years, what my problem is that I cannot play golf without drinking. It actually enhances my game. It makes me better, especially the short game, putting and everything. It helps me a lot. But I don't want to do it anymore because I have to drink and drive afterwards. I have to get home somehow. So some people have recommended marijuana, and I've been given a few gummies here and there, different kinds, and I've only tried one or two here and there, but it doesn't seem to do anything to me. So I'm kind of confused. I mean, I don't want to, when I play golf, it's excessive drinking. I mean, it's like half a bottle of scotch. So that
oh my
I want
goodness.
to stop somehow. I know, and I want to somehow switch to something that's not dangerous for me health-wise, and also wouldn't endanger my life or somebody else's life while coming home, from playing golf. So I want to find out if there's any experts out there that actually can recommend something that can basically give me the same effect, but it's not dangerous.
Well, I'm gonna put this out there. If anyone has some advice for you, they can email me at randywangradio@gmail.com, and I can relay that information on the air, or you can email me and I'll relay it to you as well. That is quite a predicament, but yeah, I appreciate that you are realizing that drinking a half a bottle of scotch at the golf course probably not the best idea, but I'm impressed that helps your short game so much.
Well, I have friends that I play with that cannot play golf if they had even a sip of it. But my situation is the more I drink, the better I get. So it's just it's been a habit for the last I would say about close. And now I start drinking about an hour before my game starts because I know that by that time I'm settled and I'm slightly tipped. It's not like I'm so drunk that I can't even swing a club, but I mean I just sip little by little, and it lasts about 18 holes, and later on I find out that it's excessive drinking. I mean, it's quite a bit of alcohol that I've consumed, but at the end of the day, I function, I come home, I still cook when I come home, I relax, I talk to my wife nicely, everything is good, nobody notices it, but I know that it's having an effect on me, and I want to replace it with something that can have that kind of an effect. So people have recommended marijuana, but the gummies that I've tried, so I can't smoke. So that thing is out of
it's different for everybody. I never liked the feeling of the gummy. Some people do, but there's definitely got to be something out there for you, or at the very least try to lower your tolerance, try to cut down a little bit. I can't imagine what playing golf sober is like. So that's an interesting challenge. Thank you so much for the call. If anyone emails us, I'll be sure to relay that information. Thanks so much for calling in. Appreciate it. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. Here we go. It is the last giveaway of the year. 790 KABC welcomes the Pink Floyd tribute by Wake Schwann's Pink at the Canyon in Agora Hills, January 31st. Tickets on sale now at AXS.com. But right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-790-5222 gets a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets furnished by the Canyon, where music meets the soul. Good luck dialing. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. Let's go to Tom in Long Beach. Tom, hello.
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 Oh, okay. I was talking with somebody. Hey, great show. What I was talking to your screener about was there's like a double standard that used to exist with alcohol and cigarettes, I always thought. And now I think there's a double standard with just regular smoking and pot smoking. You've seen the commercials against big tobacco on TV, I'm sure. And, all this righteous indignation about big tobacco, knowing beforehand all the things that would effects it would have on the public and all the health hazards and so on and so forth. I really think that marijuana is even more dangerous. I mean, it's unfiltered, and I don't see anybody putting a filter on a joint. And
it could be incredibly harsh. And I know just from my own experience that I have irritated my lungs so awfully that I have had scratchy voice. It's definitely, if I would have done it longer, it probably would have had more profound impacts on my voice, which is how I make my money. But there are some people who have deluded themselves to believing that no, it's a lung cleaner. It's good for the lungs. Smoking of anything is not good for your lungs.
Right. Yeah, smoke inhalation, period.
Exactly.
I was going to also say about your drunken master, the guy that goes out and he can't play golf well until he has a fifth of scotch or something like that. I'm going to tell you, When I watch golf, it's pretty boring on TV. But I'll tell you, if they would get them all drunk, I would watch that.
There you go. Drunk golf. Make it a whole new channel.
Yeah.
Tom, thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. So this is our last show of the year, last live show. You will hear Best of the News Blitz on Christmas week and New Year's week. I will be back on January 5th, but I want to thank everyone who listens to this show, who's made this thing a success over the last 2 years. So thank you so much for calling in, emailing, or just telling your friends about this show. I want to give some shout outs to some of the people that work here behind the scenes that you might not know, including our screener Mondo, who just signed up with us a few weeks ago, and we're so happy to have him. Wayman, who's been running the boards here for ever and ever and ever. We love him. Lewis, our program director. Kevin, our promotions guy. He's the one that does all the giveaways. Art, our assistant program director. Our incredible sales team, Debbie and Missy and Ilya and Patty. Our continuity people, the people that make sure commercials make it to the air, like Alex. Herman, who's our imaging director. All the little bumpers you hear in and out of the shows, he makes those. Trisha, who books all the guests for this show, the John Phillips Show, and Motec. Adam, who screens with us and runs the board during the day. Matt and Anthony, our engineers. Art Martinez, who sometimes fills in on the board. Josh Rodriguez, who runs the board on a lot of the UCLA events. Frank Motec, of course. John Phillips. Larry, our big boss. We're all so thankful that we work with such a great, small but mighty team here. And let me also give some shout outs to some of the great events we've done this year, like the Gelson's gas station remote, the EV charging thing. That was pretty fun. Gladstone's Long Beach at the Long Beach Grand Prix. That was a fun one. Pineapple Hill with HJTA. That was a wonderful remote. Union Rescue Mission Over the Edge. That one was a lot of fun as well. And hopefully we do even more events next year because we love spending time with you listeners. And let me give a shout out to the people that keep the lights on here. The sponsors of this show and this station, including Clark Fielding, who's been with us for over 6 years, our friends at Sterling Venue Ventures, the concert venues. We love doing work with them. Avner Gatt, so happy to have him back on the air. Rhett Rasmussen, Best Hot Grill. I love my Solaire Infrared Grill. And a couple of clients that I got to work with in the Bay Area this year, including DraftKings and, of course, Abundant Life Weight Loss, which is how I lost 60 pounds in 4 months. It's incredible. You can check out their stuff at AbundantLifeWeightLoss.com. Have a wonderful Merry Christmas. Have a lovely holiday season and a Happy New Year. And I'll see you in 2026. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC.